Hey guys, Sid here. Welcome to this exclusive interview. This is something I've been waiting to do for a long time because I've always had this curiosity in understanding about the planets, and the alignment and how the planets have an impact on us as humanity, on us as an individual, and even us as a community, like even countries and so on. And there's no better person than who you're seeing on the screen. For me, it's truly an honor and privilege to have somebody like this on board to answer these questions. The one and only Shriman Karthik Gore. Karthik, truly an honor and privilege to have you in this interview. And thank you so much for giving your time.
Thank you, Sid. Thank you, everybody who is watching there. And it's a great opportunity. It's always a pleasure to talk to Sid, his tribe. It's fantastic. He has got some of the best followers, I would say, because I've done a session previously. And the type of response that we got and the questions were so intelligent. So I look forward to sharing some thoughts even this time. Let's see how it goes.
Yes. So just to give all of you a background, Karthik has lived and studied this ancient art in the Himalayas for over 12 years. He's living in Dubai right now. So he's consulted with some of the biggest of the big names. And the way that why I love Karthik's approach is it is not like the typical astrologer approach where they normally use fear and things like that. So Karthik, tell us about your approach. How do I see that you're a very logical person, very scientific, mathematical kind of approach. So you coming from both the worlds, from the parampara world and from the, you understand the modern science as well. Tell us about how you're able to amalgamate these two.
So, like Simon Sinek talked about, understand the why of your reasoning, which is so important. Don't tell us what you are trying to sell. Tell us why you are trying to sell. So in more ways than one, the why of my learning Jyotish was, around the same fear factor. I used to see people around trying to, sell their things based on how malefic Saturn is, how malefic Rahu is. Oh, Kala Sarpa Yoga is so bad. You have a bad Sadhisati coming up. You have Mangalik Dosha. And I, as a very rational person, thought that, hey, this is the knowledge which has been written by the Maharishis. And do you feel that they would ever instill fear? Which is not possible. So why are we, for maybe few amount of money or to get some fame or to ensure the client is yours, we are doing it the wrong and very, very unethical way. So that's where the whole journey started that, hey, first and foremost, let me understand whether the science is logical at all. So that's where that spark sort of started, and I started learning. Once I started learning and seeing things in my horoscope, like how everybody starts off with, they read a little bit in the internet, then they make their own chart, then they say that, hey, I have Saturn in the 4th house. That means that I will leave my home country very soon in my life. And that's exactly what happened. The moment my Saturn Dasha started is when I came to Dubai. So I thought that, hey, this is working, So now let me start reading a little more. Now, once I started reading more, that's where that little blockage came. Because it's such an ocean, as my Gurudev says, knowledge is an ocean, start swimming. And it's such a huge ocean that if you try to learn it through the books, it is never going to be possible for us to ever understand, because you will try to mug it up, that this particular combination with this planet will give you this result. Now within that combination, there are so many variant factors, whether Saturn is aspecting that combination, whether Rahu is aspecting, Moon is aspecting, then the results become different. So I understood that, hey, I need to understand the root of Jyotish rather than trying to understand the results around it. Once I understand the root part of it, once I know why sine square theta plus cos square theta equals to 1, once I know that, then the rest of it is very easy for me to understand. So that's where the whole journey started, and that's where I met my guru, and our lineage is 2,500 years old. So I come from that lineage of Jagannath Puri in Orissa. So in India, there were this huge lineages, especially to the south. Then there is the Bengal lineage, Bengal school of astrology, and then there is this Orissa, or the eastern part, which is ruled by Kalinga or Surya. So I was lucky to meet my Gurudev at a very young age, and he told me that, hey, I'm going to start something, which is very, very secretive, which we call it as Jaimini Sutras. And I want you to come with me to the Himalayas and learn it. I was a rank beginner who hardly knew grahas, who hardly knew that, hey, there are 12 houses in a horoscope. And here was this, the highest lineage or people who die to learn with him. And I was getting an opportunity to learn with him. And he was saying that, hey, you're selected among my top courses, among my top students. And though you are a beginner, I know you will go ahead and teach half of the world. Those were my Gurudev's words exactly. That don't worry, you think you're a beginner, you will teach half of the world. Don't worry, come. So that's where the journey started. And throughout the process, like even my Gurudev at that point of time was an IAS officer, so he was also a young astrologer, somebody who had learned it from the lineage. He learned it from the age of 3. So again, his approach was also very, very logical. Being a young guy, it was not about, Saturn, Rahu, and, just looking the good side of it. When I joined him, was the first time in Parashara that I came to know that the word Shani actually means gold. Very few people know that actually Shani means gold. Hey, and we are trying to, sell him as a very, very bad cop sort of a situation, and trying to scare people away from Shani, whereas the whole transformation process is ruled by Shani. The very reason I am in Dubai or you travel and people globally are migrating and traveling is because of Rahu. He is the natural Badhaka. He is the one who is giving us aspirations to go beyond boundaries. If there was no Rahu, there would be no visual directors. There would be no people in working in branding. Guys who are doing things which are a step ahead. Guys who are thinking out of the box. The concept of out of the box is a very Rahu concept.
Amazing, interesting.
So that's how I've learned Jyotish. How do you use it? Everything around Jyotish was how can I be positive? Don't tell me the problem. Tell me the solution, right? 99% of the time when I'm looking at the horoscope, let's say I see that there is a problem in the relationship quadrant, okay, or finance or health or whatever it is. Now, 99.9% of the time, the client knows I'm having that problem.
Right.
So there is no big fun in saying that there is a problem. Fun is, whether I can deal with that problem and ensure that even in that tough situation, his spirit is high. He's doing the remedies with a nice sort of a hope, nice sort of a light at the end of the tunnel, and that is going to ensure that that he is going to be able to pass through that period of stress or period of challenge, so to say, or a period of setback. And how can we ensure through the remedies, through the knowledge, to convert that setback to your comeback?
Amazing.
That's the whole thing. And I've been consulting now since 2002. It's been so many years. I've been teaching for so long. Never have people found me negative. Never have people or anybody has ever told me that, hey, Karthik, you were so pessimistic or you were so negative. Purely because, and it's not something that I have sort of inculcated. It's a very sort of a normal process when you learn from a parampara, when you learn from a good guru, then those are the natural processes. And you understand that at the end of it, what you're going through is a very karmic lifestyle. So there is a certain level of karma, there is a certain level of give and take, which we'll be talking about in later on. But those are all, so once you sort of understand the why of your existence. Now that Simon Sinek has talked about understanding the why of your product or a service, Swami Vivekananda went a step ahead and he said that, hey, forget everything. You know why you were born. And he gave a very, very nice understanding that the day you understand why you were born, you would be happy to leave the Mother Earth that day, because in a way you have fulfilled that mission to understand who are you. Like Shiva Puran also says that Aham Brahmasmi, which means that you are a spark of Shiva. You are a spark of God. So are you able to manifest the reason why you are born or why Brahma has created you or the creator has created you. And that is your Atma Karaka, the planet which gains the highest degree in your chart.
Got
And
it.
that is the reason why you are born. And that is your soul level mission, which you promised to the HR up there. And that's your sort of, what do you say, job description, JD, or the key result area while you are born. And we are supposed to fulfill that. And once we go back, there will be an exit interview as well. So there will be ensuring that, where are the tick marks, whether we have done a good job or no, we need to repeat the term.
Interesting. Amazing. So this interview, it is going to be an interesting one because I've prepared more than 12 questions, and I wanted to go dive deep mainly into the situation that we are in, to the COVID-19 situation. And I also wanted my audience to learn, understand more from a perspective of, because now everybody is now working from home. There's a huge transition. The world has changed forever, from what we know it from a very lifestyle perspective, business perspective. So I want to also bring out some of those insights based on your, calculations on how we can deal with it, how we can, like you rightly mentioned, how we can turn setbacks into comebacks, and what should we keep in mind in terms of this. So I have listed quite a bunch of questions. So the first one to start off with is there an astrological calculation that you can prove to show that this COVID-19 situation was coming? Like most astrologers, even you have said that after it happens, they can say it, but before it happens, is there any mention like that? Were you able to, capture this, what was coming?
Absolutely. In fact, I've written about it. And there is a very famous publication called Gulf News in Dubai.
Yeah.
And way back in November 2019, I talked about 2020 being a tough year. Okay. Now, being what I am, I never scare people. So there is never something called as like a doomsday or something like that. So I never go into extremes, and you don't want to use the adjectives. But I've given an enough hint purely based on a couple of transits that were happening, and more importantly, the two eclipses which were happening at the end of 2019, which was on December, I think, 24th or something like that. And then on January 10th, there was a solar eclipse and a lunar eclipse, and 2020 was falling just exactly between it.
Okay.
More specifically, it was happening in the sign Gemini and Sagittarius. And those are the signs which are technically very important in terms of aviation, travel, your food. Consultants also come under those things. Your banking sector comes under that. Your cash flows come under that. And that was something which was getting heavily afflicted along with Jupiter. Jupiter over there was in a transit, and later on the same Jupiter was being part of a yoga which is called as Yama Yoga, which is caused by Saturn and Mars. So Saturn and Mars was forming that yoga, and Jupiter in debility was being part of that yoga. So I'd already raised my alarm to all my retainer clients and told them that, guys, you need to ensure that we are safe. See, there are certain situations of life where you don't want to be extra sort of heroic, so to say. We play a little safe, so to say. And then there are situations of life where we try our luck and we can be a little extra heroic. As they say, timing is everything. And there's a thin line between valor and stupidity, as they say. So you don't want to launch, let's say, Mercedes S-Class or the top range of Mercedes in such an economy. Only a fool would do it.
Yes.
Right? Because you don't need an astrologer for that. Any common sense will tell you that, hey, economy is not good. The same way, depending on the transit, we can definitely plan, and that's the main purpose of Jyotish. See, we need to understand that Jyotish, as we say, we call it fashionably nowadays Vedic astrology, but it is purely Jyotish. And Jyotish comes from two words, which is Jyota plus Isha. Jyota means light, and Isha means God. So Jyotish in one word technically means light of God. And that is exactly why it is called as Vedanga, because it is part of the Vedanga, and it is said to be, it is associated with the eyes of Vishnu. They say that Vishnu, Lord Vishnu, sees with Jyotish.
Mm.
So that there are different angas, and there are different streams of Vedas associated with the body parts of Vishnu also.
Okay.
So that was the whole concept, and it was way back over there in November or October and November is
Mm.
when I had talked about 2020 being a very tough year. I've
Mm.
in fact made a very detailed video. If people can get into my YouTube, I've given a detailed analysis of COVID-19.
Okay. Mm.
And I have associated, see, the whole problem is started with the sign called Sagittarius.
Mm.
Now, Sagittarius, Jupiter over there, and with Jupiter completely getting through the curse, it is associated with the curse of
Mm.
Lord Shiva, as we say.
Mm.
And
Okay.
that Sagittarius sign specifically is associated with the food.
Food.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm.
And in a secret way, all the chefs are associated with the sign Sagittarius as well.
Mm.
So way back then, I talked about some food crisis. Now, food crisis and crisis coming through food, because what happened in Wuhan, now everybody says that there is an infection probably coming through food, or there were not the right type of food which was being consumed,
Mm.
and that sort of created an infection.
Mm.
And I totally buy that theory, because as
Okay.
a dish, it makes a lot of sense that
Mm.
the food contamination, or there is something associated with food which has happened, and then it started with the anger of Shiva, or we can say Father Earth, if you
Yes.
want to sort of make it understandable for even people who are atheists, or people who sort of don't understand it. Let us say that it is in a way curse of Mother Nature,
Mm.
and Mother Nature is asking people to get disciplined. And
Mm.
most of people in today's time I see are those who are early risers, waking up at 5 a.m., etc. They're talking about how beautiful the mornings are. They're
Mm.
talking about how beautiful the environment around is. They can see the birds chirping.
Yeah.
They can see the sky is so beautiful. The pollution has gone down. A lot of people can see Delhi standing from Noida.
Mm.
So a lot of those things also keep coming. But on a realistic note, that is the fact of life. Don't you feel that we human beings had, in a way, abused the mother nature a little
Nature.
bit too much? So it's time to settle down. And then the problem with human being is that the grass is always greener on the other side.
Mm.
1 year back, if you ask somebody, they would say that, hey, my wish is, just to be at home and chill. I don't get time at home. When you get time at home, you want to be out. So that it's always the other way around. But I feel that this is, in a way, God's blessing, because I'm somebody who is always looking at the positive side of everything,
Right.
and I'm able to learn so much. I'm able to contribute so much to the society,
Mm.
because the travel part has gone away. And then
Mm.
by God's grace, human mind has created this beautiful thing called as internet.
Mm.
Beautiful thing called as webinars,
Mm.
beautiful thing called as Zoom.
Mm.
So as a result of which, we all are able to contribute so much as well as learn so much.
True.
So it's that beautiful combination of Jupiter and Mercury, where there is a part of me which is Mercury, which is a student, and
Mm.
every day trying to learn from so many things happening around. And
Mm.
then there is a part of me which is that Jupiter, which has to contribute after whatever I have got from the society. So it's a
Mm.
beautiful phase, I feel. And if we look at positively, then there is a lot of positives. Yes, but did Jyotish pick it up? Absolutely, Jyotish picked it up.
Mm.
And there are so many predictions. Not
Mm.
only me. There are so many astrologers who have talked about COVID situation, or talked about the situation very much in advance. In fact, I talked about in October, November
Mm.
2019, but there are other people who have talked about it much before.
Got it.
So
Mm.
absolutely, it has been
Mm.
talked about.
So amazing. From just to recap this part, I can understand that these two eclipses in the starting of the year were the hints, and also you're able to look at food being the cause. So we had to basically, it's a course correction by Mother Nature that we need to get more aligned to living a more, I would say, healthy, conscious life that is beneficial to the nature That is the course correction that we need to take, right? So according to your calculations, how long is this going to go? That's like the big question that everybody have.
So again, when it started, see, we have to understand what is the Karaka. Okay, now Karaka in Jyotish terminology is like a project manager.
Okay.
You know, it's Karaka comes from the word called Kara, which means a doer.
Doer.
Okay, so it's more like, for example, let's say if we look at the 9 planets, and Sun as a planet is the king of the planets, or your Atma Karaka. Okay, so he's the king, and then there are 8 ministers under him.
Yeah.
Which have a certain portfolio to handle. Like Venus will handle the love affairs, the romance, the Cupid, the red heart coming, and all those things. Rahu, as I told you, rules the external affairs and all those things. Now, the Karaka for COVID is Ketu. Ketu, because Ketu is a planet which gets exalted in the sign Sagittarius. More importantly, Ketu is a very, very secretive planet. Okay, Ketu is one planet which is ruling your inland security, your spy agencies, or people who are into any work which is very secretive.
Okay.
And to a large extent, everybody would understand that COVID was one situation where it came very, very quietly, in a way unannounced, and now it's created a havoc. And till date, nobody is able to understand technically how it works. Everybody is making an assumption that, when the summer comes, it will go away. Everybody is making an assumption, But for Jyotish, we go logically. Okay, so now let us understand the logical understanding. So the first eclipse in 2019, the last eclipse of 2019, happened around 21st of December, something around that range. Okay. And the first proof of COVID started coming around that range. Maybe it could be 10-15 days before, but around that December range is when people sort of started understanding, and the first cases started coming earlier in January outside China. Till that period, people just thought that there is something that's happening in China. From China, it's very difficult to get to know what exactly is happening. But, it was not possible to hide beyond that December deadline where the death rates are going higher and higher. Okay. So technically speaking, end of Jupiter or the last week of, December to the first 2 weeks of January was the period when COVID in a way was established. That here is a new sort of an entrant and he's supposed to be there.
Okay. That was when the 2 eclipses happened. Yes.
When the 2 eclipses happened. And that was a time when Jupiter was in the sign Sagittarius. Okay. Now, coming to approximately February, March is a time when a lot of publications, wanted to interview me and in a way wanted me to tell that everything would be fine come March. And I refused to give an interview purely because the opposite thing was going to happen. Because Jupiter was to transit into Capricorn, which is the sign of its debility, and there was already Saturn and Mars in Yama Yoga over there.
Okay.
So I told them very clearly that, listen, with whatever feel-good factor you want to give it to your readers, the fact of the matter is that actually death rates will go up.
Okay.
So they skipped the interview with me. They did it with somebody else who said what they wanted to do, probably to get into the newspaper. But the fact of the matter is, after that, the graph went very, very high.
Right through March and April, yeah.
Right through March and April. And then I had told them, then they came back to me again and I had told them that, listen, May 4, is sort of a tiebreaker sort of a situation. After which the death rates will slowly coming down. You will do testing, so that curve will keep going up and down. That is a different thing. My scenario was related to the death rates. Okay. So I told them that, hey, May 4 is the time when Mars leaves Capricorn. And once Mars leaves Capricorn is a superb time for me, because at that point of time, more or less, the curve will come down. The
Okay.
death rates, I mean to say, that death rates will come down, and the testings will be higher. So obviously the cases will be detected, but my main worry was the death rates.
Okay.
And if you see the curve also, the death rates post May 4 has actually started coming down.
It has.
Where it is much more. In India, frankly, the death rate is hardly negligible.
Hmm.
Because per million there are 3 deaths or something like that.
Okay.
Compared to US and Italy and Brazil and those countries, we are doing exceptionally well.
Hmm.
So that is the second benchmark, the May 4th. The third benchmark will come on September 2.
Okay.
And the thing is that lockdown scenario, it's an interesting scenario, is
Hmm.
caused by a particular combination which is happening in the sky currently, which we call it as Kala Sarpa.
Hmm.
Kala Sarpa means all the planets are between the two nodes, Rahu and Ketu. You know,
Okay.
so it's like the two nodes are there, and all the planets are between them. Nobody
Hmm.
is able to cross that boundary of Rahu and Ketu and pass them.
Okay. Hmm. Hmm.
Technically, what we are going through is that same thing. What is Rahu and Ketu together? It is causing a yoga whereby we all are in a bandhana.
Hmm.
You
They're
know,
tied, and there's a huge transformation happening in the world. Yeah.
exactly.
Hmm.
We are not able to go out. If we are supposed to go out, we have to wear masks, gloves, things which we were not used to.
Right.
you
Hmm.
know so an unusual event is happening in everybody's life, and I don't remember when, probably in India or most part of the world, because we are technically in the safest era of the world. There are no
Hmm.
major wars, and the social media sort of makes you feel that we are in the worst era of the world, but the
Hmm.
fact of the matter is we are actually in the safest era of the world. you know
Yes. Hmm.
uh, so and that's the reason it's a bigger shock,
Hmm.
because people were not used. People were so used to travel. The travel thing was so easy. The getting visas nowadays was so simple. Traveling was so simple. The things, booking hotels, this, that, everything had become so simple.
Hmm.
And suddenly this Ketu has started, the Ganesha, has started this whole conspiracy with his father. And suddenly we find that, hey, there's a time to do self-introspection.
Hmm.
Rather than traveling outside, it's trying to travel inside.
Inside. Hmm.
Understand that basic question, hey, what is my inbound talent? Was I just made to, wake up in the morning, go to office, come back, and probably at the age of 45, 50, understand that I wasted my life,
Hmm.
and nothing is going to come back. So in a way, this is like a God's gift to us, that, hey, sit down, at least understand what have you done in your life.
Hmm.
Do you want to do something else? Do you have the abilities to do something else? And if yes, then start working on it.
Hmm.
In a way, from your tribe perspective, this is also a time when God has shaken us that, hey, you need to have a parallel income as well.
Hmm.
You can't we are not in a world where you can be rest assured with just one area or one talent, sort of a thing. You need to harness your talent. You need to keep learning. And as I said, that whole Mercury and Jupiter process. In
Hmm.
fact, in the later on stage, I can give you the 4 steps of the Karakas of the 10th house of work. That
Hmm.
would be very interesting for your tribe to learn.
Yeah,
You know.
definitely. In fact, guys, in the description, I've given another link where Karthik is going to be doing a detailed webinar on this, which you can go and attend. I've actually pasted a link over that below there. You can go and check it out later. So, Karthik, from what I can understand, you mentioned the May 2nd is one date, then you have September 2nd is the other, May 4th and September 2nd. So, September 2nd onwards, will it start to get better? Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely. So September 2nd onwards, Venus is transiting to
Hmm.
Cancer. Okay. Though before that, Mercury is also transiting, etc. But I feel that our better bet is 2nd of September. So
Hmm.
after 2nd of September is when I feel that things will start becoming normal. What I
Got it.
mean by normal is that the flights will start, flying other than the repatriation flights.
Yes.
Because currently what's happening is more like migration, which is happening, and just ensuring that people are going back to their home sort of a situation. But
Yes.
nobody's traveling for work, nobody's traveling for conferences, nobody's traveling for leisure, so to say.
Yeah.
So once that Shukra breaks in, is a time when that is going to start. Though a couple of countries have started. I heard that Denmark and Germany are opening up their borders for travel between just those two countries.
Okay.
But I'm sure that more and more people, more and more countries will join, and September 2 onwards, you will start feeling much more easier. See, currently, when people go out, be it a shopping mall, etc., people are still feeling a little uneasy, because they are just not used to it. Having a mask, or just to buy some groceries, people have to buy so many things, and it's not a normal. But that's going to be a new normal, because the third phase is that when will COVID go? Okay, now, as you said, I'm going to talk about it in detail in my
Yeah.
May 31st thing. But roughly, it's sort of a longish battle.
Okay.
It's not going to go away very very fast before Jupiter transits to Aquarius,
Okay.
which I would say at a higher level would be around October next year.
Okay.
Okay, but does that mean that COVID is going to be there throughout? The answer is no again. And because it is Ketu, you will find that it will suddenly go away.
Okay.
It will suddenly reappear.
So it's like how it secretively came, it secretively will just vanish at that moment.
Exactly. So there is a transit when you will see that COVID has suddenly gone away completely, and then again it will reappear, and then it will finally we will find a vaccination, etc. That would be around October November next year. Is what is my
2021.
2021 is what I feel. The moment Jupiter comes into Aquarius, it would be very good. But I must say that post May 4, what has happened is the same yoga which was causing that Yama yoga, if you remember in Capricorn,
Yeah.
is now causing a yoga which is Saturn and Jupiter together, which is called as Brahma yoga. Now, Brahma yoga technically is superb for invention. Invention. So it would be a very good time that during this period, or from now till September, October, we'll find something which is very conclusive in terms of a remedy for COVID.
Got it.
Or we might get some good news that the test that so many people are doing, or so many companies are doing, one of them will have a major breakthrough, and the test would be successful, and finally the vaccine would start rolling out. So I see this Brahma Yoga as a great hint, and hence I was very positive that, hey, our first breakthrough would be to ensure that we as a country, or we as a community, or we as a universe should be able to minimize our damage till 4th of May. Till 4th of May, I was hardly, I was strictly telling people, please don't get out, unless it is very, very required. Post that, I'm little sure that, now at least people have data, the doctors have the data, they at least know how to handle things. And that is the beauty about COVID. It is, everybody says that, hey, sooner or later you will get it. The fight is always to get it later and not sooner, because doctor will have much more sort of an understanding of the situation. They will have much more idea in terms of how to treat the patient. And that's precisely the reason why you don't want to be sooner and want to be later.
Got it. Awesome. So now let's talk about the business side of it, because that's a very interesting thing. A lot of my audience are business owners, and like we know for sure, like industries like tourism, travel, hospitality, all of these have been hit majorly. And so can we in this segment, can you share like what are the most impacted industries, and then which are the industries that are actually going to grow during these times, so people can actually make those decisions and make those transitions if they have to. Yeah.
So it's a very nice question. Now, for that, we have to go a little back, understanding the impact. See, till we don't understand the impact, we'll never get a solution.
Okay.
It's always about, go to your roots. And then that's what I talk in remedies as well, that, hey, don't do superficial remedies. Don't just water the flowers, water the roots, because that's where the problem lies. And hence the Panchanga or your Tithis are so important, right? The same way, we have to understand the axis problem. Okay, now that axis of Gemini and Sagittarius, which I was talking about,
Yes.
is the 3-9 axis.
Okay.
And if you look at the normal chart, which will start from Aries, the third house becomes a very, very important house.
Okay.
Okay, why? Because it is the house for entrepreneurs. It is the house for writing. It is said to be the house of your courage, or as we might say in a very your term, it's the fire in your belly that is associated with the third house, and hence Mangal is the Karaka. Your whole banking scenario, your people who are freelancers, they all come in the third house. Why? Because it's sort of a house which is used for shorter projects. So people who are working on smaller projects, or people who are in that 1-year contract, 2-year contract, they would in a way be hit very badly.
Okay.
So anyways, unfortunately, I see a lot of job losses as well. Okay, especially after June 4th, I see huge job losses. Okay.
Okay.
And that till September is something which is going to see huge job losses. Why?
Okay.
Because and then the people who will lose the jobs first would all be those short-time workers, or
Short-time
currently
projects.
as we see are those migrant workers, which are we feel very bad about it when you see the situation that God has been very kind to us, that we are in our home, but unfortunately they are not, and they are trying to reach their home. Why? Because the third house is sort of a transit sort of a house, and hence the small time workers, the transitional people who work on labor contract, they are all over there. Okay, so the first hit would be over there. Third house is also the house of your smaller leave. See, permanent leave happens in the 8th house, and the shorter leave happens in the 8th from the 8th house, which is the third house. Hence, your smaller tourism, or your 15-day vacation, 20-day vacation, or going to London, UK, US, etc., they all happen through the house Gemini.
Okay.
That is being corrupted. So the people who are going to actually have the worst effect are people into airline industry and travel industry.
Yes.
Because that Mercury is going to be hit exceedingly badly.
Okay.
The third one would be the bankers. The banking sector will be hit very badly as well. Okay, and I already see the symptoms when I speak to my, high net worth and retainer clients.
Yes.
Just trying to understand and gauge how bankers are treating them. They already see that panic has set in.
Okay.
So those are the people who are also going to be impacted. The 9th house, now that is something which is very, very important. See, 9th house of Sagittarius generally is said to be as your house of, it's a very karmic house, because 9th house in horoscope is more of your past life karma. Things we get very naturally in our life. And no matter how talented we are, there is always something which we feel that we have got it naturally, right? Like Sonu Nigam sings at an age of 4, a great prodigy by the age of 5, talking about great math calculations, which is not possible for a normal human being. So there is some 9th house effect, as a result of which probably because of some past life karma, they have brought something as a overdraft check
Gift.
or traveler's check. So
Yes.
which they are able to leverage in this birth, as a result of which right from a very young age, they are, 2 notches higher than everybody else.
Right.
When that hits, it's a very sad story, because the 9th house is your luck. It is that lady luck, or your past karma, or the good things that you have done in your past. So if that is hitting, it's a little dicey situation, which is saying that, hey, this is the time to work hard. This is a time to not sit back on your laurels. It is a time to sort of work on a plan B, plan C, reinvent yourself and ensure that you're version 2.0 of yourself.
Got it.
Because it is going to be a tough time. God has checkmated us, or God has given us an opportunity. Or let us put it in a positive way. God is playing that tough gym trainer, whom we don't like while we are training, but we love after we see the results.
Correct. Amazing analogy.
So
awesome.
So that's the ninth house. Now, I'm a firm believer that your solutions are also rooted in your problems.
Okay.
So first and foremost, we have to accept. Now, that is a very important tip that I'll tell each one of your viewers, that accept your flaws, accept the reality in life. I've seen sometimes when people are in complete dream mode for major part of their life. They sing very badly, but all their life they feel that they are Lata Mangeshkar reborn. It is very important to understand that there is a certain area of our life where we are not skilled, and there is a certain area of life we are extremely skilled, but we hardly look into those areas because we are so obsessed with something else. That
so it is accepting.
And then that we see from the trines to the Navamsha, which again I'll be talking about on 31st of May, that God has given us some skill set. And that skill set, for example, I met my guru, by chance, and I was selected for the most secretive course of his life, where all the other students were with him for last 20 years. So is that a luck involved? Absolutely, element of luck is involved. Is there a karmic association to that luck? Absolutely, there is a karmic association to that luck. So the question is, do we create our luck? The answer is yes, we create our luck.
Through actions, through our activities.
Actions, through what we say as karma. Right? In cricket, there is something called as match fixing. Right?
Yeah.
Where the two teams sit down and they say that, hey, I'll play badly and you will win and this will happen, that will happen. To a large extent, we can fix our horoscope for our next birth or, when we die. By doing the right karmas at this point of time, so those particular planets will be in certain position and will ensure that we become one with God. So I commonly use that thing that, hey, is there a way to do a horoscope tempering as they used to do ball tempering? Then I say that yes, there is a positive way to do horoscope tempering, and you only need to know that it can only happen through good karmas.
So just to understand this concept, it's like whatever we have done in the past, those actions are actually designing our present. And then whatever we do in the present, these seeds will actually design the future. I mean, so we are constantly creating a new future. Is that the fact of astrology, or is it pre-programmed?
In a way. So a lot of people ask the concept of karma and free will. And I always say that Sri Ravi Shankar gave it a nice sort of an understanding that karma is your height, free will is your weight. So you can't change your height, but by all means you can change your weight. Now Bhagavad Gita has given a very clear understanding, and most of the other great books have given similar understanding. To cut it short, I'll tell you that there is something called as your prarabdha karma. Okay, now prarabdha karma is an amalgamation of all your karmas which your soul has gone through over a period of many lives. So that we can say is their overall P&L statement.
Yeah.
Where maybe you might have more than one companies, maybe all 10 companies, all merge into a top line, which is your prarabdha karma. Okay. Then you take a bit of that karma and you tell God that, hey, I can't take this much of karma, and let me take 1/4 of that karma and be born. So that 1/4 of the karma is something we are born with, and we live our life based on that 1/4 karma, our initial part of life. Okay, based on which we get a father, a mother, we are born in a certain location, we Based on that karma, if they are good, then we are born to a father who is doing well, as a result of which we are able to get good food, good schooling, we are in a safe country, we have a good shelter, etc. So that is something which is so important, which people miss out. See, the good thing that's happening in today's time is people are now able to appreciate the small things in life.
True.
Hey, having food is so important. Hey, having your own home is so important. Hey, being in a family is so important. Hey, having good immunity system is so important. Our rishis and the grandmothers kept on saying that, hey, have turmeric, have ginger tea, have nuts, have a bit of ghee. It is very good for your agni. But we never thought of it. Now when COVID comes, we understand that, hey, what our grandmother said and what our ancient rishis said was precisely what has saved us in this point of time. Because our natural food was based on high immunity. Why does India have so less death rates? It is purely because we have a fantastic immunity.
As a country, yeah.
As a country, and our food habits are simple. If you look at a normal thali, it has got a bit of everything. It has got carbs, it has got proteins, it has got complex this, and we have a little sweet, little ghee to ensure your metabolism is there, a little bit of rice. So it was quite a wholesome meal with all the proteins, nutrients, everything is there in a normal thali. So the Indian life, or what we say is the Vedic life, is something which is very non-religious. Vedas had got nothing to do with religion at all. See, knowledge per se is either good knowledge or bad knowledge. It is like music. It's either you like it or you want to close it.
Yeah.
It's like a good book. It's either interesting to you or not interesting to you. It's either adding value to you or not adding value to you. So in olden days, this was the whole phenomenon. The old Greeks used to come to the ancient rishis and learn. The ancient rishis, and we used to go to the Greek and learn from them. And in those days, we used to call them Yavanas. So there is a lot of, like, the Tajika system is purely learned from the Greeks, and we give them the credit.
Yes.
They have learned the solar year or the Tithi Pravesh from us, and they give the credit to us.
Got it.
So in olden days, it was always like that. It is a good knowledge or bad knowledge. It is an applicable knowledge or not applicable knowledge.
Got it.
So that's it.
Amazing. So even when you look at our, when I was brought up, we used to talk about muddy and all that. Like in a South Indian family, like even like after having bath, not touching those clothes, and namaste has been a part of our culture, and now the entire world is somehow getting back to those roots. We don't shake hands, and that's been the Indian culture. So just to recap on what you've said is, when we are born, it's like the height, like the situation in which we are born it cannot be changed, like with what tools we are given. But then we can change the weight. Like what do we do in this life and how we can improve? That is what is going to build the new future. Yes.
Exactly. So I will just complete that. So from the time that we are born, so we are born because of a karmic chart. A lot of people ask me what is horoscope. I jokingly tell them that, hey, you are the Salim Javed and you are the script writer.
Yeah.
And your horoscope is your script. So all the actors, good and bad, all the intervals, all the twists and turns are something which you have written based on your karmic lifestyle. Okay, but can we change it? 100% you can change it. So the whole notion that we humans are living a very sort of like robotic life, very programmed life, is wrong. Because and that is cleared in Gita. Where Arjun asks Shri Krishna that hey, I see my gurus over here. How do I fight with them? How do I pick up the bow and arrow? Lord Krishna says that, hey, listen, based on your karmas, you have reached till here. Now, what you are supposed to do from here is something your free will.
Exactly. And I think towards the end, there is one section where Krishna says, I think, now I've told you everything, you decide what you want to do.
That's where he says the Gita. Yeah. You see the Troy also, it's a beautiful thing because most people have seen Troy.
Troy, yes.
He has this mother, who they showed it as somebody who was the goddess of mother.
Yeah.
water, sorry. And she used to be there and she used to constantly collect the pearls. Okay. And then Brad Pitt goes to her and says that, hey, mom, I'm supposed to go to fight this big battle. What do you feel? And she was an astrologer. Immediately gives her two predictions. Listen, if you stay back, you will have 3 kids. You will be very, very healthy and you will live a long life. But nobody will remember you. But if you go to fight, the world will remember you, but I will never see you back. So she gave the 2 options that, listen, there is always a left and a right in situations of life. Which door do you pick? Which path do you take is something which is your free will. And that free will creates a karma, which we call it as Kriyaman karma, which is the karma at this point of time.
Got it.
At this point of time, I could have been watching a movie or a Netflix series, or you could have been watching a Netflix series.
Yeah.
But we are over here trying to educate people, trying to do something worthwhile of our time. And probably 5 people over there who are going to listen to this are going to feel, wow, this is a beautiful knowledge. So that great Kriyaman karma has been achieved at least for today.
Yes.
So when that account sort of gets mapped into my account and your account, probably there would be one brownie point given, for doing something good or helping somebody, get some clarity or motivating somebody to do good. That is the Kriyaman karma, and that most of the people forget. That, hey, it's not everything, which there are some people who are extremely, extremely lucky, but they are basically eating through the bank.
It's a positive credits. Yeah.
It's positive credit. And the fact of the life is, even Anil Ambani couldn't survive through the credits, even though his father was super rich. And I always tell people that your Kriyaman karma becomes so important, because that Prarabdha karma which is there, from where you're constantly withdrawing, once all your cash is gone, once your assets are gone, what will happen next? Will you be a beggar? If you don't want to be a beggar, or you don't want to be a situation where you have to do this, rather than by God's grace being in an ability to give something to somebody, then ensure that there is that constant giving also.
Yes.
There is constant giving back to that main account, which is our P&L statement. So that P&L statement is always green, not red or black.
Absolutely. In fact, even in the Gita, I remember I was reading some segments like, the nature of the soul is to serve. And when you're always in that mode of service, we're either serving, our boss, our family, and there's always, but if you're able to serve the higher, force, whatever we believe in, I mean, that whole paradigm is a different way of living, right? What do you think here on this?
Absolutely. See, research after research have been made in terms of how intelligent human race is. We are so blessed, be it in terms of senses or be it in terms of understanding, using this thing which we call it as brain.
Yeah.
And if after getting this Manushya Avtara or becoming a human being, if we are not able to give something back, it's just very sad. I always tell people that my Diksha Guru years back had told me a beautiful thing that Kartik, kuch kha ke gaye, kuch pee ke gaye. Insan wo jo kuch karke gaye. Which technically means that, there are some people who have eaten a lot and died. There are some people who have drank a lot and died. But there are the two true people are the one who have done some work and then they have left. Hence we look at the lives of, let's say, Swami Vivekananda, Thakur Ramakrishna, people who have done so much for humanity, and their work remains even after they're dead and gone. And then those should be our motivation. We can keep a Ferrari as our motivation or things. I've got no problem with that. But it is also important that at least have one sort of a figure, where you at least look at you take their work as a motivation and you want to reach at least closer to them. They will ensure that they will give you so much of light, they will give you so much of energy in your life that you'll be able to achieve much more. It's just that you need to punch over your weight, as they say. You know, in a foreign diplomacy, they say, and it is very relevant even in for a human body. The blockage is always that Chandra, which is our mind.
Yes.
It is always our mind which sort of says that, hey, this is too much. You can't do it. This is not possible. How can you do so much in a one day? You know, that is impossible to learn. That is impossible to do.
Amazing.
Once you are sort of able to overcome that Chandra and tell him to shut up and, you know, just be positive and toe the line, which is very positive, the rest, as they say, is history. You know, you will be able to do a good Kriyaman Karma. You will be able to give a great sort of a service to people around you. And one day, probably when you're not there, there will be at least 5 people thinking that, hey, this guy was good. His contribution was very good. I wish he had stayed for a few more years. That is said to be our final horoscope, which we call it as Punya Tithi. So even when we die, on the day we die, the Tithi we die, the time we die, that is also noted. And that is said to be as our, like our Antim Yatra, as we say. You know, that's our exit one. And from that we come to know whether we are coming back or whether we are going to the Talas or, you know, specifically which Narka, specific which Loka, whether we will be reborn, if we will be reborn after how many years. You know, it's a very, very deep knowledge.
Wow. This is fascinating, really fascinating, amazing. So back to this, this segment, which I wanted to sum up is, you spoke about the industries that are going to be impacted. I just made notes. So one is all the shorter projects, freelancers, and you said after June 4th, a lot of job losses can be seen, which is a ripple effect of what has started. Short-term tourism, airline, travel, banking sector, and also the whole, people who have been given talents, like you mentioned, they cannot take it now for granted. They have to work hard. They need to have a plan B, plan C in their life. So this is the things that we need to be mindful of. So let's look at the other side. Like what do you think are the good industries which are going to grow during these times?
See, when if Guru is giving the curse, the remedy will also come from Guru.
Okay.
So the people who will do exceedingly well are the people who have invested in themselves. The people who have invested a lot into learning, and people who have done the transition or in the transition of being a student to a Guru, or what we call it a subject matter expert.
Okay.
So what will be hit the most is mediocre people. People who will make hay or who will make immense are people who are subject matter expert. So people who are, let's say, at the top of the ladder in terms of their talent are the people who are going to go through the roof. People will seek their knowledge, people will run after them, people will invest them, and they will have a lot of work to do. That is the first point of it. Secondly, the remedy also comes from Chandra.
Okay.
What it means is communication, or people who can either do good communication, people who can do good amount of I would say people who can bring people together, like what we are doing currently.
So communities, education and community building, yeah?
Education, community building, people who are going to be extremely learning oriented, and people who are going to have, in a way, a very calm and composed mind, are people who are going to actually benefit out of this whole situation, because they are going to actually now be recognized, for their whole thing. Even I would say people see Chandra also rules longevity. So to a large extent, I would not be surprised if insurance agents start doing well. Okay, that would be a sector which I am quite hopeful about. That is something which people are going to look at. Health and fitness, because what people have understood in this phase is again that irrespective of me saying before that, hey, your health is most important and not money. Every client used to say, hey Karthik, forget health, health is fine, tell me about money. Now God has by his own way shown that, hey, what the Vedas were saying is most important, that first look at Chandra in horoscope. Whether you will live is more important than whether you will buy a Mercedes S-Class or a Audi
True.
8 Series. But in an ideal scenario, people never understood that. And they used to tell me that, hey, Karthik, health is okay, yaar. Just tell me, how my finances are, will I buy this, will I buy that, when will I buy my new property. Now it is the reverse. The first question is always on the health. That by God's grace, I'm fine. Karthik, do I need to do anything? Do I need to wear anything? Will my health be okay? Do I need to worry about it? You understand? It's sort of a factory reset which God has done. That hey, jaan hai to jahan hai, or your health is wealth, is more important in today's time than ever before.
Absolutely.
So all those Chandra related things, all those things related to communication. I was looking at, in fact, one of your posts where you said that, hey, Zoom has gone so much higher.
Higher than the airline industries. Yeah.
Yeah, more than the 3 airline put together or something like
Yes.
that. Yeah, which is so correct. Because Zoom is purely a Chandra. It is
Communication.
community building. People are talking to each other. It's people can do it in group. So people who are into it and people who are associated. See, Moon is also Karaka for the 4th house. Okay, so any of people over there who are looking to have sort of a new innovative plan can obviously look at something related to home office.
Okay.
If you can do something related to home office, because see, Corona is not going anytime soon, and the concept of working from home is not going probably ever. Okay, so now more and more people are going to invest into having a proper, nice home office. They would like to have nice mics, they would like to have nice acoustic system to ensure that there is no echo around. They would invest in a good furniture, they would invest in a good chair, they would invest into everything, lighting, etc. So that, which is the 4th house of Chandra, is going to be a huge industry going forward.
So everything linked around communication and community learning and education. Yes.
And then consultants will do exceedingly well as well. So that is one area where people are going to do exceedingly well. The mediocre people will not be able to sustain, but people who are aspiring to be that Jupiter in their industry are the people who will be lapped up like anything in this period. And in fact, their net worth or their importance in this world scenario is going to be higher than ever before.
Got it. So being more like playing the role of a teacher also helps during this time, like the specialist. Yeah. And absolutely. Building communities around that space, around that knowledge-based approach.
Absolutely. See, I'm going to talk about this 10th house thing where the 4 Karakas are Mercury, Saturn, Sun, and the Jupiter. And I always say Mercury is at the top, which is your student mentality. Okay. So any person who is not a good student, frankly, can never become a good professional.
Correct.
I'm very clear about it. Secondly, Mercury also shows flexibility. So any professional who is not flexible in terms of learning or bending a little rule, not breaking the rule, but sort of having an ability to mold themselves to the situations. See, Mercury is like a child, and child has got no problem. You give them this toy to play, they will play with the car. You give them the darts, they will play with the darts. You give them marble, they will play marble. The problem seeps in when that Surya gets stronger and your ego starts coming in. Hey, I'm too big to play marbles, who are you to tell me?
Yeah.
No. So those are the 4 stages which again I'll be talking about. But what I mean to say is the first stage and the last stage, which is the Mercury and the Jupiter. Those are the, it's like cycle, we are constantly in that Mercury phase, we are constantly in that Jupiter phase. Like for example, in today's session, you are the Mercury, I am the Jupiter. Where you are trying to understand, hey, what is this guy talking about? Whereas just 2 days back, I was listening to your podcast and trying to understand, hey, what is Sid talking about these various workflows in terms of how he does his lead generation. You showed those 9 steps, and the last one was what you were using it. And I watched that. So at that point of time, I was the Mercury, you are the Jupiter. You understand?
Got it.
And life is like that. If you have too much of ego that, hey, Karthik, you have become this great astrologer, so many people come and seek your consultation, it's doomsday. It's that's the end of my talent.
True.
Amitabh Bachchan at this stage also, he says that whenever I walk into a set, I feel like I'm new and doing my first film. And that's
Yes.
not being actually too grounded or being too, too down the earth, etc. That is a fact. Because see, every new director has its own way of filming. He has
Yes.
his own way of lighting the sets. It's a new script. So he's right. But the fact of the matter is he's too humble and he's too smart, I would say, to understand that, hey, I can't miss that Mercury every day. Every day I have to be that Mercury. Every day I have to do that hard work of Saturn. Every day I have to shine like Surya. And every day I have to become that Akash and give like Jupiter.
Jupiter.
So those are the 4 steps of the 10th house, which is your house of your karma. And that is from where you can reach your Swarga also, because the particular Varga which is associated with your work is called as Swargamsha, which means that your work has an ability or the power to take you to Swarga.
Wow.
They say that among various steps of reaching God, there are Bhakti Yogas, there is Karma Yoga, where Karma Yoga also is, and Jnana Yoga, So there are different types of ways to reach God, so to say. And Karma Yoga or your work, and hence it is correctly said that your work is worship. If you are helping a soul, I would rather do a mala. I would rather help a person who is going through a bad time rather than sit down and do just a mala. Because that person, for me, has come to me because God has decided that, hey, Karthik, this guy needs help. Speak to him. So I would leave everything and speak to him because that is my worship at that point of time. When I'm talking to him, it's as good as I'm doing my Rudra Abhishek.
Exactly. Yes.
So that's the higher notion. So people who consider their work their worship, people who love the work. See, Prakash Kothare, it's a nice thing. Years back, I had heard something. He's a famous sexologist, and he told a very nice thing that, hey, sex is not about reaching the destination; it's about enjoying the journey. And the same thing has been repeated many times in different fields, that it's not about the destination, but it's all about the journey. So my whole thing about your tribe is that, hey, love the journey. If you reach one day, when you reach there, you'd feel bad that you didn't enjoy the journey. I remember when I used to be in the Himalayas, it's a nice thing, I'm able to remember all those things. I was a very young kid. And I used to wake up at 4 a.m. in the morning. My Gurudev used to say that, hey, meditation. I used to say, no, I don't know meditation. Okay, close your eyes and, think of sun rising. Think of something, where you like Shiva, then you think of Shiva. If you like Om, you think of Om. Think of anything, but try to focus in one place. So I used to do that for 1 hour. He used to tell me the things, then we would have our classes, and till 12, 1 in the midnight, because I used to come back and write my notes also. Because I didn't want to, I wanted to capture everything that he's saying in that day. Otherwise, it would lose that spark of whatever is there in my mind.
Yes.
So I have to come back and then write my notes for 2-3 hours in a small light because I had a room partner who wanted to sleep early. So now when I look back at when I'm talking about this, I feel that how much I enjoyed the journey. Never did I crave that, hey, from 4 a.m. in the morning to 1 a.m. in the night, I'm working so hard, I'm not getting rest, and Gurudev is giving me so much of work, I have to do so much, I'm not even knowing other guys are so senior, they know so much of it. That confidence was there, that reassurance was there, and then I thought that, hey, with hard work you can achieve anything. And if you have, and then in a way you create your own luck. And even Jyotish says that hey, Saturn is a way to create your luck. Work hard, and that's why they say that hard work beats luck anytime.
Yeah.
Right. So, and that is proved in Jyotish. So, anybody who says that hey, Jyotish is all about some wearing gemstones and doing illogical stuff, no, you're wrong. You're talking to people, who have got no knowledge, they don't have gurus, and hence they will talk about this nonsense stuff. People who are logical, people who have gone through the grind, people who have gone through the parampara, will understand that, hey, that is the fact of life. And hence Saturn is such a positive planet for people from the parampara. Because that Saturn is your route to reaching the Satya Loka, because the last Loka is called Tapaloka, which is ruled by Saturn. So Saturn is technically our last stop before we become one with God. And he can't be bribed. He is most uncorrupt. He purely believes in merit. He says that, hey, your Excel sheet says that you have done a bad job. Sorry, I can't promote you. Or he is going to say, hey, this is fantastic. Even though I don't like you, your work is superb. Welcome to the world. So Saturn to that level is an extremely fair planet. The problem with human being is we don't want to do good karmas, but want to expect a good result. We want to be constantly jealous of other people rather than working hard and getting motivated by their victories or good things in life. When the downfall comes, we blame Saturn. Hey, why were you jealous all the time? Why did you not work hard at that point of time? Muhammad Ali said a very nice thing. I know I'm taking a little time of yours.
No, we love it. By the way, guys, if you're watching this, just type amazing in the comment box, because this is gold. Thank you so much, Karthik. I mean, what's coming out from you is coming from your heart. So please continue. Yes.
Thank you. So I was reading this, like Muhammad Ali, somebody asked him, what, because see, there is hardly any difference between world number 1 and world number 2, or world number 1 to 5 are so close, and then comes a huge difference between the others.
Yes.
And the top 5 are always fighting within them. The world number 3 becomes world number 1, world number 1 becomes world number 4, then he again comes back, and all those things keep happening. So somebody asked Muhammad Ali that, hey, what did you do which made you such a great champion? And he said that, listen, I used to train, and after training, I used to think of my opponent. I used to close my eyes and I used to see him training. So I used to get up again and I used to start training. I used to be half like gone and dead. I used to sit down and think. And I saw that he is still training. So I woke up and started training. Finally, I was almost dead. And I closed my eyes and saw that even he has stopped training. And I understood that now is my time to train. And then I started counting, because that is the time which is important for me, which my competitor is not training.
Wow.
So this was the power of visualization. Where he used to probably, that you can say what we say as open eye meditation in today's time.
Visualization.
Okay.
Vision boards. Yeah.
Everybody does that. Even Virat Kohli, when he enters, while playing with Australia or a tough opponent, every good player does that visualization that I want to dominate, and this is how I'm going to play. This is how I'm to play, and this is where I'm going to hit him. And then they do that.
Yeah.
Same thing is what Muhammad Ali did. But it was such a beautiful way of telling us that, hey, just being good is not enough. If you want to be the best, your count of success should start from where everybody has stopped. So if I, during those periods, was learning Jyotish 16 hours a day, sleeping 2-3 hours a day, I don't regret it at all. Because I love their journey. And as a result of which now, probably there are 2 people who are able to recognize my talent. And that came with a lot of hard work. So anybody who feels that, hey, Jyotish is all about luck or luck enhancement. No, even an astrologer like me has burned that midnight oil. So as much as Jupiter is important or Sun God is important for making a good astrologer, so is Saturn.
Yes. So Saturn is that hard work, persistence.
And Rahu, which gives me that dark thinking. People talk to me, they say that, hey, we thought that you will be some astrologer with some tika and some 10 rings in the hand and probably wearing some orange robes and all those things and talking like a Babaji. But when they meet me, they say that, hey, we feel so that you are part of us. That is the blessing of Rahu as well,
Mm.
where you can connect to people, from a different mindset, from a different country,
Mm.
people who have a complete different perspective about your world. There
Mm.
are people who don't believe in astrology, people who don't like astrology, which is fair.
Yeah.
When they talk to me, they at least think that, hey, you at least created that spark, as a result of which we are going to do some Google search. We'll look at some of your videos because you seem and sound very interesting to us.
Very relatable. That's what even I love about this interview. You're able to relate with the modern world. I mean, because there's a way of thinking, and we don't want to, like most people in the community, like some of them believe in astrology, some of them don't believe, but then if it's presented in a logical way, it makes sense. Yeah.
Which is fair. See, people who don't believe, I'm perfectly okay. People who are atheists, I'm perfectly okay. In fact, I feel with my experience, sometimes atheists are actually more spiritual than the spiritual people. Because they believe in a simple concept that, hey, live and let live.
Mm.
And that is the root of being spiritual.
Mm.
What is the whole point of doing uh, your 5 malas a day, or going to a Sunday church, or doing namas 5 times, and yet being a very cruel person?
Mm.
I would rather say that, hey, I don't believe in God, but I believe in nature,
Mm.
and nature is God. So
Mm.
by hook or crook, you're actually believing it, but just that your paradigm or your thought process is a little different. So for
Mm.
me, that is not a problem at all.
Mm.
For
Makes
me,
sense.
all roads lead to God. Whether you go through this, whether you go via Calcutta, whether you go via Bangalore, whether you go via Mumbai, you can
Mm.
still reach Delhi.
Mm.
You know, and that's the beautiful part of it.
Mm.
And so, what were we talking about? I
Yeah,
just
we were talking about. I'm just going to sum up on the industries. Like you were saying, the good industries to be in is people who are investing in learning, subject matter experts, anything to do around Chandra, communication, communities, education. You said longevity, like insurance industry, and you're also mentioning that home office. Like now, that's going to be the next wave, like home offices and consultants, which is what I want to segue into the next segment, which is, do you have any suggestions on best tips for setting up home office?
in terms of Vastu, you are saying, right?
Yeah, Vastu and arrangement, because many of you, my community members, are working from home, and they've been, I mean, that's the whole world is moving in this direction. So I think there's a good topic to go into. Yeah.
Correct. So again, I would be so there are two parts of it.
Mm.
Ideally, Vastu. Let us understand that Vastu comes from a word called as Vastu.
Okay.
Vastu means a thing.
Mm.
So technically, Vastu is associated with your relationship with that particular thing,
Mm.
or that space, or that energy. Right. So the first paradigm shift which we need to have is that Vastu is never generic. It
Okay.
is not like a one size fits all.
Okay.
Okay. Now, if I might say a simple example, if tomorrow I am to, let's say, sit in the office of Bill Gates,
Mm.
okay, does that mean I will become a billionaire as well?
No.
Or
Mm.
if Bill Gates sits in my chair, will he be able to talk like Jyotish, the way I'm talking?
No. Mm.
So what it means is that, hey, Vastu is your relationship with your energy. Like
Mm.
I, in my previous office, was in an office which was in a very jinxed building as per
Mm.
everybody else. That, hey,
Mm.
Karthik, why are you going into this building? Anybody who opens in this office is never able to grow. But I took an office in that building.
Mm.
To top it up, I took an office on the 13th floor.
Mm.
And everybody was like, hey, Karthik, what are you doing? 13 is a very unlucky number. And I made immense in that particular office. I did exceedingly well. So what I mean to say is it is always your particular relationship with your space.
Mm.
Hence it is very tough to build up a Vastu and say that, hey, build up something, which is good for everybody. Frankly, it's very tough.
Mm.
And hence, and when I design villas, etc., of big sort of villas, I pick up horoscopes of the kids to make the kids' room.
Mm.
You know, I pick up the horoscope of the main bread earner or the main person in the family to build up a lot of things in the exterior part of it.
Got it.
Look at the women's horoscope to build a lot of things in terms of the interior part
Interior.
of it. Why?
Mm.
Because we male are very, very Surya dominated, right? So we like the exterior part of it.
Mm.
That hey, I should have this Mercedes, I should have this particular car. When I come out of the car, people should feel that hey, this guy is awesome.
Mm.
You know, which is a very, very Surya sort of a thing.
Mm.
You know, we are not more bothered in terms of the kitchen part of it, whether we have the carpet. Those are very frivolous things for men. But a
Mm.
woman, you ask, you know, she is not bothered about other things. She will say that, hey, my kitchenware should be good. I need to have a stove which should have three things. You know,
Furniture, interiors.
furniture should be good. Hey, I needed drawers over here so I can keep this thing. And the guy would say that, hey, do whatever you want, man. I'm okay with that. Just the exterior part of it, it has to be this color and it should be this, and it should have a nice fountain with two elephants over there. So when my friends come, you know, they should feel he's awesome. You understand? Now that is not something, you know, which is natural. It has been written in the Vedas that male are Surya dominated and female are Chandra dominated. Hence the concept of sun and moon is what makes your horoscope. It is the father and the mother, the Shiva and the Parvati, or Vishnu and Lakshmi.
Mm.
Okay, and that is what causes the rebirth. So that is one point that I wanted to make clear.
It's
That
customized. Mm.
technically it is very customized. But coming to the generic stuff, okay, especially in today's time where people are going through a very, very, very tough time, okay, and then there are people who are not mentally tough, right? At the smallest of the instant, they get into a depression or they feel very bad about the situation, etc. Generally, I would say that sit facing the south direction.
Okay. Mm.
Facing south direction for people who are little
Starting.
fickle-minded, I would say, or going through the anxiety period. Okay, or are in that phase where they are very insecure in terms of what will happen tomorrow. Will I be able to survive? Will I be able to pay my next EMI, etc. Sit facing southern direction. Okay, now again I'm clearing that. Let's say if I'm sitting, I have to sit facing south.
Mm.
So people are clear. Otherwise, they might feel the back to the south or no.
Yeah.
Face has to
Facing
be to
south.
the south direction. Okay. Now that is for people who are in that stage. Let's say people like you and me. Okay. Or I wouldn't say people like you and me. People who are upcoming. You know, in that career, or almost in that stage where they are feeling quite settled,
Mm.
they can sit facing the eastern direction.
Okay.
So to ensure that you know they are already in that almost there sort of a situation where they are in that leadership sort of a role.
Mm.
Okay.
Got it.
Then there are people who are not able to do hard work. See, they are blessed with finances, they are blessed with other things, but it is just that you know they are little constantly procrastinating. You know, constantly not able to do things on time. You know, resting a lot. You know, then you can sit facing western direction.
Okay.
Okay. For let's say people like you and me who have already gone through those phases and now are in a stage where we are monetizing our work,
Mm.
you know, then facing northern direction wouldn't be bad as well.
Okay. Mm.
So these are the four stages which can be there. Another tip that I can give you is always keep water on the right hand side of your table.
Okay.
Okay. See, it is very important in today's time to have your compassion because people are slowly going to get a little aggressive. They are going to start losing their cool. They are going to become more and more fickle-minded, little abusive, and we are already seeing that the cases of domestic violence, etc., has gone up a lot, which is a very, very sad situation. Okay, but from a professional perspective, it is very important that hey, water has to be there always on your right hand side. Whenever you feel a little anxiety or you feel like you know, hey, I'm very angry and I need to give it to them. You know, have 3 sips of water. You know, settle down a little, probably take a little walk. and then come back and decide what you want to do. So to that level, water, because it is Chandra and the water element, it is going to help you to mellow down a little.
Mm.
Also, I know that it is a lockdown period, so people can't swim, but swimming again is a very, very good way of lowering your anxiety as well. And it's I'm talking purely in terms of Vedic sense.
Got it.
Last but not the least, I would say in today's time, the biggest tip that I can give you is please be mentally strong. Now,
Mm.
it is easier said than done. Now, how can we deal with our mind? See, mind is like a child, and like we divert a child when he is asking for a chocolate or something, which we don't want to give it to them. Then we divert them that, hey, listen, draw this book. It is so good. You see, this shape is very good. Why don't you draw a red color over here? Similarly, we need to motivate our mind and then keep reassuring him that it's all fine. Things are fine and things are going to be fine. And that's where your gratitude becomes so important.
Fantastic. Mm.
I would surely tell you that I write my gratitude every day, and it
Mm.
is so important to write your gratitude either at the start of the day or at the end of the day. I leave it up to you. I do it at the start of the day, but there are many who write at the end of the day also, which is fine. So those things are so important. And most importantly, see, music is associated with Chandra also.
Mm.
Okay. And always tell people that, hey, start your day with music.
Mm.
Listen to some music, see, the concept of Gayatri Mantra was based on music. The
Yeah.
whole Vishnu Shastrana is based on Anushrup Chanda,
Mm.
where it has been metered in terms of 32 Akshara every time.
Mm.
The concept of Gayatri Chanda is 24 Akshara.
Mm.
The concept written in the Vedas is Gayatan Trayati Sa Gayatri, which means
Mm.
that, hey, you have to sing Gayatri 3 times a day.
Mm.
Now, why did they say that? To ensure that your mind is positive. See, generally, even when you are a little angry, little negative, or when you feel a little insecure, if you start listening to music or start singing even better, you'll
Mm.
immediately feel a little better.
Yes. Mm.
Now it can be a bhajan, it can be Kishore Kumar song, it can be whatever you like, Justin Bieber or whatever you want to sing, but at least sing, because that is a way to tell your mind that, hey, everything is positive. Immediately that positiveness reaches your mind and you set up your day in a very positive way.
Mm.
Other than starting your day immediately looking at the emails, watching the news, CNN says that, hey, this has become bad, and the other news channels will say Modi is bad, this guys will say Trump is bad, the whole world is bad, and you start your day thinking that, hey, everything is bad, man.
Mm.
You don't want to do that, right? You want to create your own vibe, you want to create your own aura.
True.
And that is so important in today's time. A lot of time people ask me that, Karthik, you technically deal with people's problem. And every time we hear you, you sound so positive. How are you able to handle that negativity?
Mm.
Because everybody technically comes to me with a problem,
Yes. Yes.
you know.
Mm.
And I tell them that, hey, I follow the same rules which I tell you. I
Mm.
start my day without looking at any internet or something like that. Doing my morning rituals, singing, just being happy, just being happy to God that, hey, my hands are working, my legs are working, and that itself is so important.
Mm.
Look at people in Syria, look at people in other parts of the world where, they don't know, when there will be a bombing happening, when they don't know that the roof that is there tonight, whether it will exist tomorrow morning.
Mm.
Compared to that, we are so, so, so lucky. We have food on our table, we are have work to do.
Mm.
Yes, there will be fluctuations, the ups and downs are the fact of life.
Mm.
As Javed Akhtar said that, हर घर में सिर्फ एक कमरा कम है, हर दिल में सिर्फ एक उम्मीद कम है.
Mm.
Which means that, every person has got one room less in their house, and everybody has got one wish unfulfilled.
Mm.
That is life. The
Mm.
moment you die, there is no wish. There is
Mm.
nothing called as, what do you want to do next?
Mm.
Everything is over. So the fact that we are human beings and the fact that we are alive are two different things. There are a lot of
Yes.
human beings who have stopped living because they just don't have any goals to do. They have just completely given up on them. They always constantly find excuses. That is the negative Saturn. The positive Saturn is the one who wants to lead from the front and understand that there is nothing called as impossible, and I'm going to work my way through it. The negative Saturn is, oh, I'm so old. Oh, I can't do this at this age. Oh, Siddharth can do it because he's tech savvy and he understands it. How do I start all this thing? I'm already 50. I'm already 60. That is negative Saturn. Whereas positive Saturn would be, he will say that, hey, life starts now, every day is a morning.
Yes.
And I'm going to start it now, and who knows, I'll take my knowledge with my soul, and probably in my next birth, if I'm reborn, I'll be very lucky and I'll restart with this. That's the whole concept of knowledge is an ocean start swimming. And that's the concept of Mrityunjaya mantra. It doesn't mean that you won't die. It technically means the knowledge won't die.
Yes. Phenomenal.
A lot of this prodigy you see by the age of 5, 6, suddenly they're doing complex things. How are they able to do it? It is purely because their soul is carrying the knowledge from the past birth, as a result of which they are good. Probably they were a great mathematician in their past life, or a great astrologer in their past life. As a result of which, a lot of things happen, a lot of karmas happen. They meet their guru at some point of time. The guru will pick him up, take him to somewhere in the Himalayas and say that, sit down, I'll teach you Jyotish. You don't know anything. I'll tell you what to do. Do this Ganesh mantra today. Do this thing today. From now on, you are supposed to do this Mahavidya sadhana. Do this, do that. Now, people don't understand when people are going through their blessings. There was this famous thing which I had seen in Pondicherry when I was very young. I'd gone to this Aurobindo ashram in Pondicherry. And there I had seen this nice sort of a banner where there was a person complaining to the God, saying that, God, in my tough times, you are never there with me. So God says that, hey, how do you know that? He says that, look at the footprints on the desert. There is only 2 legs which are there. God says that, hey, why don't you check out, whether they are your footprints? So he goes there and checks that the footmarks were not his. And then he understands that, hey, during this tough period, actually the God was carrying me.
Carrying him. Wow. Beautiful.
You understand? And a lot of time we don't understand that, hey, how the blessings are coming in our life. Knowledge is the biggest blessing. There's nothing else which matters. Saraswati has got a higher stature than Lakshmi. Money will come and go, but it is your knowledge which nobody can take. People can keep copying, people can do a lot of things, but the knowledge that you have accumulated through your hard work over a period of years is not something that anybody can take, and that is only one thing which will stay with you. And hence in olden days, people used to always say that, hey, if you are educated, you will never die hungry. If you have millions of dollars or millions of dirhams, there is a chance you can die hungry. Anil Ambani, even with this money, had to file for bankruptcy, right? Now that's not a good thing. How much of ego or how much of internal problem he must have gone through.
Yeah.
But can a Shankaracharya ever file for bankruptcy that he have no knowledge left?
No. Yeah.
It is a flow of knowledge. The more and more they teach, the more and more they learn. The more and more they learn, the more and more they teach. The more and more the God gives them. You understand? That is the concept of, make this education, shine that Jupiter. I always say to all my students that become that Surya. Like the sun god who is waking up early in the morning, at 6 a.m. in the morning and out there. He is the king of the planet. He doesn't tell, hey Mercury, I'm not feeling well, go and do my work today. Hey Saturn, go and do my work today. No. It doesn't say that, hey, I had a late party, I woke up, I slept only at 2 a.m. in the night, so I can't go to work. No excuses. So the sun is the only god among the Panchadevata which a human being can see.
Yeah.
And because we can see, we actually don't understand its value. That is the problem with humans.
Mm.
We will run with gods and things that we can't see.
Mm.
But the God which is coming every day and telling us that, hey, this is the ethics of life. I am the king, yet I shine every day. I radiate every day. I give every day. What are you doing?
Absolutely.
If we have an answer to that, we will start radiating too.
Yeah.
And that's the whole concept of the 5 a.m. club.
5 a.m. club, Robin Sharma, yeah.
Robin Sharma's 5 a.m. club is purely based on the concept of the morning tithis.
Ritual, yeah. Mm.
You know, what is the best tithi to wake up is technically 90 minutes before sunrise.
Yeah. Mm.
You know, that is what we call it as Brahma Muhurta.
Yes.
So if we generally take it 6 a.m. as a sunrise time, roughly 4:30 to 6 is the best time.
Mm.
So Robin Sharma took a middle path that let me not wake them at 4:30, nobody will wake up, let me try for 5.
5. Mm.
So he used that as a 5 a.m. club, which is a perfect thing. It is purely based on Shastras.
Yes.
The thing that Simon Sinek used, that, you know, find out your why, is perfectly logical. That's based on the concept of Atmakaraka, which Swami Vivekananda talked about.
Mm.
So you see, it's a lot of reinvention which is happening. And sometimes I feel that the Westerners are understanding it much better than Indians sometimes. Because we are not able to value what we have as a heritage.
Mm. True.
Westerners, for example, I've got so many students in Russia, in Serbia, in Germany. There are almost a maximum number of Sanskrit colleges are in Germany.
Mm.
In India, we have completely let go of Sanskrit. So what I mean to say is that knowledge is the ultimate truth. And hence we say that Shiva at the highest is called as Parameshti Guru. You know, he is the giver of all the knowledge. You know, and knowledge is what people like me and you value. Frankly speaking, you know, I know you very well. You know, money comes and goes. You know, that is just a state of mind. That's just enough. Do you think a Mukesh Ambani is just motivated by money? That's not possible at all. Any of the motivational speakers right at the top, do you think money matters beyond a certain point? Absolutely no. You know, it's all about what new can I give. It's all about, after Ron Kaufman has given so much to the world, you know, can I give something new to uplift the service? Can I give something new which I have understood? Can I interview more people? Can I study more? You know, so that concept of Mercury and Jupiter are so much in hand, and hence it is called as Guru Shishya Yoga. In Vedic astrology, we say that when Jupiter and Mercury are together, it is said as Guru Shishya Yoga, and the exact sutra is Guru Shishya Yoge Sarva Karya Siddhirastu, which means that when Jupiter and Mercury are together, any work that you do will be fulfilled. Because you are ready to learn and you are ready to give. Sometimes, you know, there are great students, but you know, they are never ready to give. You ask them, you know, how did you learn this? I'll tell you at some point of time, you know, later on, you know, no. My guru has told me no, or they don't share. And that has been a problem with us Indians also, you know, because there are great schools in Bengal, there are great schools in the South, there are great schools, but you know, after some point, that ego issues, that insecurities creeped in. So they never shared the knowledge with each other. And the moment you stop sharing knowledge, you stop gaining knowledge.
True.
And over a period of time, that is the impact of negative of Kali Yuga. But then the positive impact of Kali Yuga is that now location is not a problem. So the concept of Aham Brahmasmi, which I talked about, is like we are God. You understand? Not in a very, very egoistic way, but what I mean to say is two of us are talking and probably 20,000 people will listen to us. So at the same time, what Krishna or Vishnu said, that hey, at the same point of time, I am able to be present at everywhere, atra tatra sarvatra, is something what the webinars are doing for us. So God is again giving you an opportunity that, hey, do some good karmas even on the webinars. Add value to your audience, you know, create that spark within them, as a result of which at least you made their day. It's one day of their life. And if you can at least make their one day of their life, you have done a great karma.
Fantastic. So it's like qualitatively same, but quantitatively different. I mean, yeah, he's magnified at a universal level, and we play a small part, small role to fulfill his.
And that is the concept of namaste. No, see, people have not understood the concept of namaste. It is just not folding hands. It is technically saying that, hey, Sid, there is a God inside you.
Yeah.
God.
True. True.
So it is as good as giving your opponents such a high sort of a pedestal and treating them that, hey, you are a tattva. You have come from that mud of where Brahma has created you from the Trigunas.
Yes. Yes.
So the concept of you being God or God being inside you is perfectly fine. There is a Ram and Ravan, the left side and the right side of the brain, as they say. So depending on which side of the brain you want to activate, you either become a conniving person or you become a motivating person. So it's all about that effect.
Thank you. I mean, amazing, Karthik. I think this was a power-packed interview. Those of you watching here, just please share in the comment box, what were your biggest learnings and takeaways from this? And in the description, I've actually given a link to, there's a special link. You can attend next webinar of Karthik. Whenever it's happening, I've given a special link over there. Please go and tune into his webinars, because he's going to get into the details and the science of this in his webinars. This is more of a conversation that we just had based on a few questions. I want to do more of this, Karthik. I think we have gone on for really good time, and truly I value this time.
It's always a pleasure. It's always a blessing, and any time for you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So I just wanted to recap that last segment. You said that we need to keep, the big tip you said is to be mentally strong by starting the day with music, by writing gratitude notes. And I know you also say you're writing your goals. You need to wake up every morning with a purpose. And when that happens, I think everything else will fall into place. So thank you so much, Karthik. It was great tips, and looking forward to interviewing you again on other topics in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. Namaste. Namaste.
Jai Jagannath. Yes.
Jai Jagannath.